All right, we got this old HP LiftMaster half horsepower Security Plus garage door. It spins. I'll show you that in a second. It spins, but it doesn't lift the garage. It doesn't move the chain at all. So we're going to take it apart, see what's going on. To do that, on this model, you got to take out these 4 screws, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. You also have to take out the screw that's right here on both sides because that attaches to the casing down here. So we're gonna take those 4 out and see what we got going on. All right, hey everybody. We got a LiftMaster Professional 1.5 horsepower Security Plus garage door opener here, and it just stopped spinning. It doesn't stop spinning, rather it stopped moving the garage door up and down. So we wanted to take it apart and see what's going on. There's just a ton of plastic shreds here, and what happened is this main driving gear here, where it interfaces with the worm gear on the far side, has just been worn out and chewed up over time. You can see all the plastic. Well, I dumped a bunch out, but there's a bunch of plastic in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out this whole assembly right here, starting from the top of that shaft, which goes to the top of this case here, and replace this whole thing, and hopefully we'll have a working garage door. So here's an example of what happens. You can see that worm gear spinning, but it's just not engaging the main gear. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure you unplug your power. All right, you're going to also want to disengage your main garage door latch. I'll show you how to do that. You should have some sort of emergency release here. So you're going to pull that, it disengages from the garage door piece that goes up and down. And then you're going to want to lift the door about halfway up and then put these, I'm not sure what they're called, these tension clips, right? So that this garage door doesn't go up and down at all from where it is. All right, next, to make sure that our chain is all lined up properly, we're going to do a little pencil mark here. If this pencil works for what we're doing, there we go. That will help us make sure that we line everything back up in the right spot as best we can. Let's hope that we see that later. Next, we're going to take off this cap here, set that aside, don't lose that, and pull off this chain, which we don't want to let it twist, but it might twist a little bit. We're going to have to straighten it out before we're done. But we're going to pull off this chain and just hook it there. Now, before we can get that chain off of that gear there, we're going to have to first loosen up the chain by freeing these nuts and then moving the nut this direction so that the chain has some slack in it. And to do that, you're going to need some tools that'll give you leverage, because there's 2 nuts, so you're going to grab one with each and twist them to loosen it. All right, these have been loosened up. Do it further by hand if I need to. But yeah, we have slack in the line, so time to hook it. Rather, time to unhook it. What we're going to do now that it's slack in the line is pull this off and just leave it there so it doesn't go falling away. But you need 2 hands for this. All right, just like that. You can see the slack there. I'm going to take this whole unit out with the screws from below. So we use a 5/16 bit on a impact driver to pull out the 3 bolts that are holding this in. I think the 3rd one's going to require a ratchet wrench though, because I don't think I can go straight on like I can with this drill. All right, so we got this loose up there. Now what we gotta do is take off this plastic clip down here, and then we're gonna slide the whole thing up. But I need 2 hands. All right, so that's out now. What we got going here? Yep. Oh, then I think we gotta pull this off. There we go. I don't know if you saw that. I pulled this piece off after that clip, and now this whole assembly goes out the top like that. You can see some of that plastic just shredding and falling apart as we speak. All right, so you can see this gear here is dirty, but it doesn't look too worn. Not going to worry about it. And our worm gear right there in the center, that's also in pretty good condition. I got this kit off Amazon. Check the comments for a link. And it comes with an additional worm gear and maybe some other parts. I'm not entirely sure, but we're only going to replace the piece that we just removed because that was definitely worn out. All right, on the right here's the old one, on the left is the new one. You can see they're identical other than the poor state of the old shredded up plastic gear. What we're going to want to do now is drill our screws into this new assembly to tap them to give it threading. We're going to drill them in, drill them out, maybe twice. Actually, just once because we don't want to confuse the threads. But we might go back and forth a little bit to make sure those threads are in there solidly. That's going to make it a lot easier to attach once we drop this down from above and try to drill up from below. We want to make those threads ahead of time. All right, so we're going to just kind of get that started there. We got a long extender here so the drill can go in straight. I'm just going to tap those screws. Oops. Okay, we can do that for all three. All right, once again, on this new one, we're going to pull off this clip, slide off this gear here, and then we're going to drop this whole unit in from above, screw it into place with our socket wrench here. And this socket wrench, unfortunately, ratcheting wrench was too tall, so I got to do this last piece by hand again. All right, so now we're just going to drop this new piece in from above. It's going to slide right into that hole. Down there, you can see the slid into this hole here. Down here, you can see where our gear that we pulled off and the clip are going to lock in. You can see there that it's touching, I think. It's touching our worm gear on the far side there. And then we got to up top line up these drilled holes with the holes that we have to go through. You see them? They're equally spaced in thirds, so there's no right or wrong way to do that. Now that it's in place, we're going to screw it in place. First couple of screws are going to go loose so that everything is not too tight and locked into place. And then once we get them partially in, we'll go tight. Before we put any of these screws in, we're going to just look up top. You can see that our three pre-tapped, which are the tall ones, line up with the hole that's below them. That's what we want to make sure they're holes to go into. All right, I got this obscured one started by hand, and now I got to do the rest with my adjustable wrench here. Okay, that was a battle, but it's in. That hand-driven one is tough to reach. All right, now at this point, we're just gonna put this piece here. I'm gonna line up that hole like that with the edge there, so we can push that clip into place that holds it there. And that's set. Now we got to go put the chain up and line everything up. All right, now we just got to pull this tight, get this bike chain here over that gear. We're gonna have to tighten up the whole chain with those two nuts down the line. But first we got to get it here. All right, we got that geared up, and you can see our white line maybe there. You can't really see it in this video, but the white pencil mark on the chain lines up with our white pencil mark on the frame. It's good news. I'm gonna put the cap on. Check it out, everybody. We did it wrong. See those two little holes? I thought this piece could go in anyway, but those two little holes, well, there's one here, one on the other side, are needed for the cap. Cap doesn't fit on in the right direction without those holes. Starting over. All right, I've undone it. I've realigned it so that this clip hole and this clip hole are in line with the chain. That's for the cover so that our gear stays clean. And you can see them from down below here. Those are the clip holes. Now we're gonna put everything back in with the screws again. All right, now we got it into place. Now that really tight one, again, it's 5/16, but trying to use that adjustable wrench was hard. I was able to find a metric that is 8 millimeter. Is that right? Yeah, 8 millimeter, and that worked out really well. Also, do that hidden one by hand tightening and hand loosening as much as you can. It's a lot easier than trying to get a tool in there. All right, we got the chain on. Here's our white line Here's the white mark on the chain itself. They're not quite lined up like they were when we pulled them off, or when we first started, but that's because we loosened slack, which we're gonna tighten now. Meanwhile, we have this gear here. Once you have it on, if your white lines aren't lined up, getting it on is the tough part. But once it's on, you can just walk it across one direction or the other. Now that might line up our white line pretty good right there. We'll leave it there and we'll tighten it because it's mostly the other side that is slack, not this side. We're gonna put this cap on with our newly aligned hole. Woohoo! We got that tightened up again. There's no twists in our chain. All right, we are all set. Oh, I gotta put this bottom piece on yet. Be back. All right. Slide this in. Wind up the hole so a little clip can go in there. Great. Now we're all set. And we're going to add grease. Our little kit came with grease. I want to add a lot of grease to everywhere we see the plastic spinning. All right, so around here. Gonna add it all around our drive, our new gear as much as we can. I'm not filming anything, am I? Gonna go around to the other side and get the worm gear. We want that nice and lubed up. All right, I'm gonna turn off the camera and get the rest going as much as I can. All right, I got grease on as many places as I can touch. We're gonna plug it in, spin it. That'll spin our gear. We'll unplug it then, add a little bit more grease, but hopefully, actually we don't want to do anything right now because the garage door needs to be unclipped. All right, we're gonna unclip the garage door. All right, I want to close that up. All right, we got it as greased up here as we can. And down here, and around over here. And now it's plugged in, and he's gonna hit the button. It's moving, it's moving. Is it gonna engage? Hit the button again, buddy. What? What? We got it working. Should stop just in time because our white line has everything in place, so it stops here before running into the machine itself. Now we just got to put the case back on, screw in the bottom light holes there, and then the top ones on the side here. We're set. High five, my man. Oh yeah, now's a great time to add a little more grease, so we're gonna do that. And over here on our worm driver as well, as much as we can. And it looks like there's all right, everywhere we can get that has grinding parts. All right, we got it. It's been a really hot day. It's like 91 outside right now, but whatever. We got this. It has not been working for years, and because of our just terrible floor of this garage, you can see it's all broken up. We just never really thought about fixing it because the whole garage needs to be replaced. But my son got a hair. Dad, let's get it working. So we looked it up, got the parts link in the description below. And hopefully this is helpful for you. It's been a project for me, but it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for joining. Talk to you later. Oh, also, for information on marketing, direct response, copywriting, things along those lines, visit my website at goldmine.marketing. Goldmine.marketing. Thanks again. Jeffrey signing off. Sam, we got it.